Right, everyone. It is 9:05. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This meeting is being held in accordance with the public laws of 1975, Chapter 231. An adequate notice of this meeting has been provided by a notice sent to the Star Ledger, the local source, and posted in the main lobby of the municipal building, and also on our township website. Mr. Basicolo has the flag in the foreground. Can we all salute for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now ask for a respectful moment of silence for all those who serve our country, both near and not so near. Thank you. Roll call, please.
Mayor Capides,
Here.
Deputy Mayor Weber,
Here.
Committeewoman Du Bois,
Here.
Committeeman Kaiser,
Present.
Committeeman Huber is absent.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Just one brief announcement. I would just like to thank everyone who participated in our drive-through food pantry this Saturday. With your help, the Township of Springfield delivered 580 boxes of food to COVID families in need. I'd like to thank Meet the Need, our fire department, the Springfield Presbyterian Church, Regal Bank, State Farm, the superintendent, Mike Davino, and of course our DPW that came through in the clutch. But most importantly, all the volunteers that showed up to help out on Saturday. Again, we went out and donated 580 boxes of food to the community and surrounding areas, and we definitely delivered personally several boxes of food to residents of Springfield. I know we delivered to some seniors and to other families in need, so I definitely appreciate it. And I would especially like to thank Deputy Mayor Weber, Committeewoman Du Bois, and Committeeman Kaiser for stopping by and helping out. I know that Committeeman Huber would have been there, but I know he had a previous commitment. But I do appreciate it, and we're already talks about hopefully making it an annual event. But again, I appreciate it, and it was just a great day all around. With that, I would like to open up the meeting for public comment on agenda items only. Anyone from the public wishing to be heard on agenda items only, please use the Q&A tool in the Zoom to put your name and address. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the agenda and move on to new business. We have one resolution. Do I have a motion? And we'll make the motion and then we'll discuss the resolution. Can I have a motion first, please?
I make a motion.
Oh, okay. That was fine.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, and again, just for the public's benefit, this resolution is authorizing an agreement with the Summit Area YMCA for the operation and maintenance of the Springfield Community Pool during the summer of 2019. I know this was a large group effort.
Chris, 2020.
Sorry?
2020.
Summer of 2020. Forgive me, that was a typo. I know this was a large group effort between the Recreation Department and the business administrator, and I know that Committeewoman Du Bois had a huge part in getting this done. Mr. Lieb, if you wouldn't mind just going through for us really what the conversation was, what this agreement stipulates, and what are the positives for the township, if you wouldn't mind, please.
Sure, Mayor. In a short amount of time, what we're looking to do here, that really the biggest goal is to provide this benefit, this service to the public. It would save the pool operation for the summer and the camp operation in a short amount of time, using the resources of the township that are available and the considerable resources of the Summit Area YMCA. It's a great agreement that I think will benefit the community members who are looking for some summer activities and childcare for their kids. If this goes through, we have an opportunity to provide a modified pool season and camp program for Springfield residents that will involve a morning camp program on the grounds of the pool, and then an afternoon pool session during the weekday, and then on the weekend, a full day of pool sessions. The Y put in a lot of time with us to survey Springfield residents who expressed their interest. They used that research as well as our assistance to put together this program that we're hoping to offer. What it really means is that the Y comes in and operates the pool, takes on the risk of running the pool in a short amount of time, and also really, like I said, the goal to provide the public service. So we're going to be assisting them as much as necessary, but for the most part, this is their operation with their customer service, their supplies, their staff, and it could be a great partnership if it works out.
And Adam, I appreciate the large effort that you've done and everybody's done to get this through. I'm going to ask you some questions, just again for the public's benefit, just without going through and reading through the whole agreement. What costs does the township incur in terms of running this camp with the YMCA? What are our expenses?
So of course, we're the property owner. So whatever a property owner would do to maintain its grounds, we're going to do. And we would have done that anyway, whether the pool was going to be open under our operation or, unfortunately closed for the summer. So we're taking on very limited expenses that, again, we would have done anyway. If there are any emergency repairs that we might have had to do to our property over the summer, parking lot maintenance, grounds keeping that Public Works would have assisted us with anyway. And then really just the staff operation through the Department of Public Works Administration, whatever we would need to do to maintain the property. But the Y in our negotiations said that we're going to take on all of the costs of the operation, just like they would do for any of their other employees.
And how about our employees? I know that one of the things that we had talked about, we obviously not only let all of our employees go, but we refunded all of the money from the residents who had previously enrolled either for the pool or for the camp. How are we going to get employees to run this camp with the YMCA? And what is the process going to be for those who want to use the pool, the camp, or both?
Sure. So let's start off with employees. I mean, it's a group effort. The YMCA does have staff at their staff resources at their disposal. We also had staff, which we did release. Together, we were able to provide them with some information on our released staff. It's our hope that they'll bring a good number of staff members back for their operation at the pool. I mean, they know the pool the best, our staff, but the Y also has very knowledgeable people. So again, it's going to be a group effort. We'll see how that shakes out in a short amount of time, but I believe they've already been reaching out to some staff members to bring them back. Regarding members of the public, the YMCA has a terrific website that's very easy to use, similar to ours in Community Pass. And they're going to be sending out notifications to the people who completed the survey and to people on our mailing list, inviting them to go directly to the YMCA's website, read about the membership options for the pool, read about the camp options, and then register online with a credit card, calling them or emailing them with any questions. So it should be very easy, seamless.
I have one more question before I open it up to the Township Committee, and maybe it's better for maybe this is a question more geared toward Mr. Dowd, and but depending on who wants to answer it. Liability. If one of the YMCA, something happens to one of the YMCA employees, something happens to a pool patron there, whether it's a township resident, non-township resident, what's our liability in this in terms of running this camp agreement with the YMCA?
I think I would defer to Mr. Dowd or Mr. Basiclo on that.
Good morning, Mayor. I'll take that one. So I'm not going to go into the details of potential exposure and things like that. And town can never prevent, necessarily prevent folks from initiating lawsuits and the like. But this agreement will provide indemnification provisions where the township gets indemnified by the YMCA, and also fully robust insurance provisions where the YMCA providers cover the town as well. And once some those details are laid out in the form of agreement that's attached, that's part of this resolution, and subject to approval by the YMCA, we will be adequately covered. We shift as much of the risk as possible to running these operations to the YMCA as we can in this agreement. So the township's exposure would be quite limited, certainly as compared to a normal season where the town is fully operating at full on.
Thank you, Mr. Dowd. I just wanted to open up to the rest of the committee. Do you have any questions for Mr. Lieb, Mr. Dowd, Mr. Basicolo?
I do. I read through everything entirely, and I didn't see any downside to it personally. Does anybody see anything I'm missing? Is there anything that anybody's leery of on this? I didn't find anything wrong with it per se.
The only thing that we didn't mention that we should, and I don't think this is going to be a huge factor in getting this thing done, is that I know that Mr. Basicolo and Mr. Dowd and Mr. Lieb has been in constant contact with the YMCA. And at this point, this is something that has been collaboratively worked on between the YMCA and Springfield. And I think that the coordinator of this is dotting the I's and crossing the T's on their end. And once that is done in part, they'll be able to execute their end of this. We wanted to just make sure that we had a resolution agreed to and passed so that when the YMCA is ready to go, they can, once they're ready to go and once they have everything organized, they can go full speed ahead, because we have already went forward with this agreement.
Yeah, that's accurate, Mayor. It's subject to the approval of the Y. There might be some slight tinkering, but we're not anticipating any substantive changes to the agreement. If for some reason there were, we'd have to come back and amend it in some fashion. But right now, we think we're in a good spot, and just waiting for that final word from the Y.
Okay.
I just want to thank John and Adam for sure, because I think the rec department does a really great job every year. And I know these circumstances are not what any of us expected. And I appreciate the effort that Adam put in with the Y to get this moving in the right direction, because in the end, we're really just trying to help out our residents as best we can. And I think this is a testament to how everybody's willing to really think outside the box and really try to get things done. And I appreciate all the hard work, because there's a lot of hard work that goes on behind the scenes between Terry at the Y and Adam and John that people will never see or never think about. And I'm just appreciative of all that, because we kind of had to stop on a dime and change direction this year. And I just think everybody is really working hard for the community. And I think they should be applauded for that. So thanks, guys.
Anyone else? Sure, Alex.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the rest of the committee. I don't have any questions, but I guess I'll make my comments now. And hey, this is awesome that we were able to do this. A special thanks to Mr. Bisicola, Mr. Dowd, Mr. Lieb, Ms. Sherry, and of course, Committeewoman Du Bois, who brought this to our attention. A few months ago, not a few weeks ago, we didn't envision this being a possibility, and we closed the pool for two reasons. One being economic, of what we thought the effects were to our town would be devastating if we had to open and close. But the paramount reason was we did it for the health and safety of our residents. In this meeting, I think we would be remiss if we didn't acknowledge the loss of life in our own state, 13,121, 22 of which are our own residents here and our own neighbors in Springfield. So I think we did the right move months ago in calling this for the health, to make sure that we could potentially try to save lives. And in the end, we got to this moment where we're able to open because of the hard work of everybody around us, making the difficult decision of locking down and taking our governor's lead, Governor Murphy, who closed and took heat for that. But as of now, we're 1 in 4 states that are ultimately in the downward trend. So while we move forward in opening up some of these entertainment facilities, right, such as pool or organized sports start to open, we got to remember though that we're still in the middle of a pandemic, and as we talk, our country continues to hit positive infection daily, and states around us are all seeing an increase. So it's awesome that we're opening, but we got to make sure that we continue to practice safe social distancing, continue to wear a mask, because before you know it, you could be another state that's having an outbreak now. So this is awesome for the rest of the summer, but let's all make sure that we continue to do the difficult stuff, but the safe stuff that keeps us all safe.
Thank you, Committeeman Kaiser. Anyone else? All right, seeing none, roll call, please.
Go ahead.
Committeeman Kaiser,
Yes.
Committeewoman Du Bois,
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Weber,
Yes.
Mayor.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. And I'm sure, again, congratulations to everybody, and information will be forthcoming soon on the process and procedure. With that, I'd like to open up the meeting to public comment on any governmental issue. If you'd like to ask us anything, please use the Q&A function on the excuse me, on the Zoom. I have one comment, no question, but I wanted to thank all of you for your hard work during these difficult times. The buildings are closed, but you've been working extra hard. Thanks again. And that's by Judy. Thank you. We have Jerry with a food question. Please approve.
Well, hey, how are you? Jerry
How are
Fernandez,
you?
393 Hillside Avenue. Will the YMCA provide a vendor for the food, for any snacks or refreshments?
Adam, you want to discuss that?
Yeah.
Sure. We're working through that right now. About 5 weeks ago, we did have to release the vendor contract. I mean, even indoor dining, outdoor dining, nothing was permitted at that point. So we're talking with our vendor, talking with the YMCA to see if and how we can best do that safely. But we just don't have an update yet. Hopefully, obviously, by the time the pool opens, we'll have that answer. But I just don't have that yet.
Will that party room or that private room be available if people want I imagine up to a certain amount of people, but would that be available?
That's a question that we don't have an answer to yet. Our primary goal was getting this contract to the committee so the Y could begin their operating. In terms of the food vendor and the private party rentals that the township was planning, it's still something that we're working through right now. But the priority will be to get the pool and the camps open.
All right, and then last question. I imagine that the Summit Y is opening this up to other communities in the surrounding area as well. If they wind up reaching a certain financial point, is there anywhere where the town can make some money on this?
Craig, would you like to comment on that?
Sure. There's one of the terms in the proposed agreements, again, subject to the approval of the YMCA, is once they hit their break-even point in terms of costs versus revenues, the township, for any additional fees, the township would get a share of a small percentage of any additional revenues, and that would be, again, subject to the YMCA approval, and probably not something that would be realized, if at all, until much later in the summer, if not after the pool season closes.
Do they have a projected date that they're opening?
No earlier than the first week of July, so no earlier than next week.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Looking in the Q&A. That one, get that way. We have a question from Margaret Bandrowski. Please comment on the financial implications for both the year and next year, the pool arrangement and possible opening date. Good job to all. Thank you. That was covered. And then finally, we have, what are the hours of pool camp?
Mayor,
Adam, you want to take that?
Sure. The Y is proposing a morning only, a half day camp. Private hours, the pool would be open for campers from 8:30 until I think about 12:30. And then the pool would close for a short amount of time before it's open to the public. So it's a morning only half day program.
Excellent. Anyone else from the public wishing to speak? I think we covered everybody. I'm just going to give it one more second. All right, seeing no more, I'm going to close the public comment portion of the meeting. And with that, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you very much, everybody. Nice job. Job well
Thank
done.
you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice week.